0244 844 488. 0244 844 488. Okay, and comment. Okay, and comment.
Yeah. No be difficult to do myself.
Most of more hair on social media, no so no. Obetin Badwin China for Bekin Canina Eddie Amamo. 104.3.
Won't cry me, man, if I fall. Thousand a better make and chow. When him be mad at chow. Make I live my life, and you know. It's always at last time though.
Openi Musa Dankwa Ewa Hasi. Ono any penny or Global Info Analytic ano. Mira Musa Dankwa Mache.
Opening me also.
Now what is saying?
I'm yadum or they are chain.
Say dear Ghana, ye can't obia about 2 months or ye can call any Ora Musa Dankwa. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Bibi Aboko.
I'm yadum.
Nadia na unkwa uhu ya ubie.
No, I'm say amount for who they need.
Eso na yeso one was also unkwa na uhu sa.
Because near any Ghana phone kasa.
Okay.
Yeah, now your office. I'm way trip.
Okay.
So while we were talking to Ghanaians, we knew what Ghanaians were telling us.
Okay.
My mom for Yendi.
But you were so sure. Now we are convinced the pastor they all can be.
Look, there was no shred or any single vein in my body. I catch them and say what we were saying will not come through.
Okay.
So if you see me say my confident, it was because I had enough data, to give me that assurance. So we were very sure of where we were standing, what we were saying.
I see. Okay. Once again, congratulations. You better about to non combat. You're more about so because who can you name memoir? I rather Christ. Keberu you nam so worry. Keberu you so worry. Warrior. Aha. Ka kan na mamu keberu you so worry. Enti in fact what kan abamu no de ese say ye de wabodi ma na ye ka che say money yo more of that. Once ye din komo na say e data driven a boa o man no punti oni ade ti more of that utinkwa.
That's
papa. Yamra about one so, but just an overview of the election and Nema Ekosu Yinani idea. Proud to election or they are not what predict no can and send me any idea. Boy Amaneka, Ebra now call round Ghana only Ghana for aiding Komono. Nadia some Nagana for Kachero Nafi Nasa only more Casa now share or more post train. Any idea non-verbal communication as to a data no de ma on ho net is saying there na wo.
You know, way back around January 2022 any first survey, national opinion survey, there were signs say MPP could be in trouble in the next election, but that was way back. But 3 months after that survey, that is after almost passing 11, then it became apparent say they are in real trouble.
Okay.
In the your polling data way back 2022, actually, any of the results now there was no difference.
Okay.
You way back in April 2022. Almost passing 11, that was the beginning of unraveling of the government. Obekaya a survey about on the 11, and it shows say it was very unpopular among every block of voter, MPP, NDC, and floating voters, and everybody. And after 11, the economy began to tank.
And what's it saying?
Now, the economy is
okay.
And from that point, Oman recover. No, Oman recover.
Okay.
So the signs were there because there were 3 key data now you report to every 90 days.
Okay.
Bakuye the direction of the country. Omaino, baby and namno, and I'm quite possible, and it's what true.
Okay.
Constantly, every time there could be an over 60% say baby and namno yet. 60% of the country was saying say baby and namno yet. And then we were asking them, say, oh, man, penny in body board the same. Almost every time, at least 60% of money holding for the past 3 years. 60%.
Okay.
And now the last question, amount for sitting them. Sound of living. Ana ajinsem, ana sanity. Almost all the time, most people say ajinsem. So the signs were there, but the people refused to see the signs. Until we Samia, I can say the signs were there. And the last and not the least, it be some say, are they optimistic? Say, Gide say in the next 12 months, no, Nima be year now. See, sometimes it do when you say in at the moment, but what Gide say in the next few months, a be year. For over 3 years, every time be out, nobody has hope. Nobody Gide say be year in the future, and that was the problem a government needs to tackle.
Okay.
And they couldn't tackle it.
Okay. Is it that no more aware and I say effort no more put in timia no man timia?
I don't know.
Okay.
Because from what has happened after the post, no, enemy who say a post near about kind.
Okay.
Well, truly speaking, if say Omani call a post no one, there were so many signs, so many of them. And in fact, some of them called me, said they were surprised, said they lost. And I'm catching them say, I'm surprised that they are surprised. Because our data is not for sale. It do go home obi it be open a very comprehensive one and they charge you, but they do go home man for who there. It was there for them to see.
Okay.
But probably they had their own thinking. Maybe Omaka also they have believed they say Muhammad Amaniska. But Muhammad Amaniska, you to send somebody independent.
Also Maniska.
Go and hire your own independent person now. You'll be brave and tell the truth. Maybe they didn't.
But sa issue of Muhammad Amaniska, Musa Danko Juma Mendy said naughty.
Oh, so then they catch the Debia.
Now you're worried.
No. Absolutely not. Why would I be worried? Oma Misika. But I said, on Krama Misika no, not me Juma airpoint luposa. On Namasi. I mean, there was no common sense in what they were saying.
Okay.
Because if you don't say, you know, I'm on the back, Mama 42, but me say, there be a yenesa, a more comprehensive detail, breakdown, region by region, issue by issue. Why the mom is cast a main cop, yes, every, na mental weakness, non queen, you know, Umbebitino. What Jimmy? Because polls are done for strategic use.
Okay.
So we tell Sika what the brand wow on Fanchirobia. Because all the chairman for what you have identified as weaknesses. No on so much to one more. I'm a boy.
Sanity.
Men will be on to so I feel say I'm doing a service to the country. Opa share, opa you any.
Okay.
You no and no more. I think say next time they'll learn a very, very good lesson.
Okay. You are sure?
I'm sure. I'm
okay.
sure. I'm very
now.
Yemra
issues be me you know what about to the kind direction of the country. Said na o can say oppose no. Actually say about 60% consistently na omugidi say be o man no any actually no enkoye na then put key indicators and parameters and normal dem man say when na yen yagidi say o man no enkoye na bi ye den.
Well, name per se be adwuma nyina ma political party.
Okay.
At least we give you a heads up.
Okay.
Almost say enkoye. So find out from them directly what specific issues. Okay, any question no. Ebisa was say in general, do you believe say Ghana is headed in the right direction or wrong direction? The person will look at everything in totality, from education, from health, from economy, from all the angles. No, I can't boom.
Okay.
So Phyllis said no. Ekuyi because Ekuyi. So if you say Ekuyi because we Ekuyi. Because yeah, more single issue. Yeah, more example. We don't give you example. Say more example. Now that example a negative. Obe feel say a person more negative response or my negative response. So we don't give you an example.
Okay.
So look at what is happening around you in totality. Who feel say maybe I'm no I'm papa so and say so nya. We don't say right direction and a wrong direction. We don't give you example for a reason. So what kind of education now? Obe feel say ebia who person whether education is going well or it's not going well. Who can rule out because if your person who say road no omaye and amunye. So we don't give you an example.
Okay.
A man broader as a country. Wow, usha. Maybe I nam no eye. Ana e kwan wan nam so no enye. Then you give us the response. So person why they are saying wrong or right. Who as a political party, you send some other people to go and do what we call qualitative research. Open-ended questions. Maybe after 30 minutes with the voter no, then you go back to your drawing board and work with it.
Okay.
And we don't have that time for that. Polls, and we have about 5 minutes with the voter in the field.
Okay.
You can ask reasons. We don't have that kind of time.
Okay, but say who as an independent researcher no our field and our here Juma no. Who I'm sure say who bet me pick Q as experience as you are, bet pick Q's be from.
Yes.
Or responses now they mount.
Okay.
And that's what I'm looking for.
Okay. Another question. Sometimes you don't ask them that question. You can have another question that a bit of hint of what they were saying. We were asking them to give us nima mensa edam akuma so. Umbegina so atoaba. The top 3 issues are umbegina so atoaba. Now omakasi economy. Now omakasi jobs, education, maybe roads, corruption, health. Or among the top issues. So these top issues what could be driving their saying say wrong direction and right direction. Because at that point, you can ask yourself, say, is the economy in a good shape? If the answer is no, it means that aspect may be influencing their decision to say right direction and wrong direction. Was job situation in a very good shape? If the answer is yes, it could influence those who are saying right direction or wrong direction. Is education in a good shape? It could drive what people are saying about right or wrong. So indirectly, you can pinpoint some of the drivers that are making them think, say, Ekuyi and Ekuyi.
Okay. All right. Okay. Then issue of meaning say time oppose no eba bonteno issue ana man for raise pie or sampling. Aja dangwa na yenya wi chechire mu kakra na o sampling net say o technique net say
look
net say
me wo examples menu mema.
Okay.
In try to explain sampling. Say kwala no even today in society so we be kwanya dey no ye okoto ingredients meboa
okay
na o dey agu nchen no wanu nsuo o dey chance nesi jaso na o dey nsuo kakra gum na o dey gini bi agum
ni tosi kakra oda pete ho
by step no why ni step by step on kan nyina gum at once there be
esa nkwana nya
step by step. Oye we nyina wie na nkwan no furu a no why den so pese o ka hwese nkwan ye da onsa kwantere ba ko ennom ehu se nkwan ye de meboa
okay
o factory itwa no wa sakra da boni na say meboa so enchini nim no enchini kakra
anasa makunu ye atwa mbisa
sana sampling etie nkwan ndo so but ehun so obenum nkwan nyina na mu se nkwan ye de ana nkwan nye de kakre bia wo be ka no obehu because wo fa ekwan besu ena wo no nkwan no meboa
no great
sana opinion polls no a step by step approach of sampling omo no mbedi nkita ho no fa na omo wo dodo no na omo wo hi sampling na pese wo ye no ahe na so de kokumasi Ashanti region I hear here say a Greater Accra, North, and so on and so forth. What the cost work? Nipa a mahi and also the mudin kitaho, memahi. So when you know what we call the ingredient, the methodology and the approach. Say sample now where you know a very scientific. Look, only mudin kitaho we are. Omo amotemante mo nyina no. Nipa kakra no omadwe no I better reflect omu nyina adwen because we are scientifically. And the most important thing is it will be a random sampling. Random. It means that own target group be so me hu o me NDC for me no ko interview. We MP before me go share we na sa no a obinya MP before nko adwen ana NDC for ko adwen. Nti bibi obekọ no why important. But sometimes we can avoid certain partisan affiliation because oko bantama out of every 10 be obey home no 8 and I said 9 be MP before. There's nothing you can do about that one. Sana ko hoswa we NDC be 20 or 10 another 9 be NDC for. That you can't change it. But so baby say Accra and Tisa. So the sampling you take, the people you draw from that area, will reflect the kind of people who live there. So long as why randomly, one year selective. And as another issue is that you don't go to a place where a group of people who have the same thinking congregate. So you sample no sorry them. You masalaji. This place is no. So we are very detailed about where the sampling is deployed and how we carry the sampling. So I know the most important issue. As for the sample size there, we year 100,000. We saying 2.5 but so it's not about the size of the sample, but it's how scientific it is. Yes, there's an argument say the bigger the sample, the better. But sometimes moving from 1% margin of error to let's say 0.5, no, your cost can go up by 10 times. It's not worth it. So you share maybe a race no gap no margin of error no okay for us. We are okay with it. So say you know, and let's say the gap between Baumia and Mahama 2%. Now Quebec a margin of error 1.5 no is too small. But that wasn't the case. So all these things play into the analysis that we make before we were able to get things right.
All right. Now NDC there omo winning handsomely into omo there so called election as a winning convincingly so no it is assumed that onema we nyina na perfect nti no ye baba mo so akiri now to the MPP omo campaign kwa omo fa so yenhwe presidential craft and sani aba be parliamentary ni nyina time na wo ko rounds no na wo hwe ni nyina no what was it or were they saying I mean, manfa oni omo kasa no then an omo ka efa party no omo campaign no ho omo presidential candidate no ho omo presidential approach then na wo hu then na what your form of.
Look, Bibia start with data.
Okay.
You can pretend you haven't seen it, but the reality will dawn on you on the day.
Or strike you one day.
It will strike you. And sometimes we find it difficult to confront our fears. And that's politicians. It's not just MPP. NDC, the same thing. Any politician will fear to confront their fears. They live in denial. They live in bubbles. And the bubble burst. Before the 7 elections, there were clear data. MPP was in big trouble.
Tell me about it.
Look, OPK data is there, obviously, and we've been saying that, but sometimes people think, say, oh, in the Akan areas that MP must dominate, Mahama was leading Baumia and even all the MPP candidates before the elections. We, the 8 regions, mostly Akan regions, Ashanti region, Eastern region, Western North, Central, Bono, Ahafo, Bono East. Mama was dominant, and that is not normal. That should have been said something was not right. Because if you cannot dominate in your stronghold, then forget it. So the signs were there. It has been like that.
So at the time who said in those Akan regions, or Akan biased regions, now Mahama is dominant or lead, as a researcher, people prompt to say if this is not normal, and I'm sure the crowd ama normal. Step.
No, we know what's going on.
Okay, so
you go to the second step.
Tell us about it.
The second step was okay.
Also, now man force someone to aba.
No, so from Mahama leading in those areas, the next question, okay, let's see the turnout expected in those areas, or those who say they are undecided.
But don't lose trend of your thought. First, Mahama was dominant.
Yes.
Now, Yanyama the integral turnout to Krania there. Entino, now me say okay. If you time who say Mahama dominant was regions we say na wa here some say who dear na man here dominant and sacra no about
that's why I'm coming.
Okay, all right.
For him to lead, so be also MPP no so on to aba. Then when you are counting those who are wanting Mahama, on count.
Okay.
So people also abandon on to, right? So the number Mahama was getting was giving him enough to beat Bawumia or any other MPP candidate, because they were MPP who say Omun to aba. And Osha Ghana had a timer. Most people who said they will not vote in Ghana here, don't move for Eastern was number 1, Ashanti was number 2, Central was there, Western region was there, Greater Accra was there. How can MPP win election in this country without these 4 regions? I'm someone to aba. So the signs were there, and then Osha must say, okay, I'm on. The same pattern, the same people, the same regions. So when you are counting those who say Mahama and Bawumia, you don't count all someone to Abanankahu.
Okay. So Mentias Yan say the Nama Mahama dominant nature say next Osha I favor Mahama.
Yes.
And then 2 or more do na Osha say almost someone to Abano, not a favor and no Kwama MPP.
No, there are people who are saying someone to aba.
Okay, the M people were saying someone to aba.
And also, in fact, most people who didn't vote in Ghana at the time, no many floating voters.
Okay.
Followed by MPP supporters.
Okay.
And I must say, floating voters number 1. Omo count party and Chirawo number 2, and then you have MPP number 3. So if you look at what was happening, there was clear signs there. Something was going to happen in the area of apathy and all sort of things. And why were they not going to vote? It's because of maybe the way they have perceived performance of the government at the time. So the signs were there clearly, but people probably ignored it. And because maybe it was too good to be true, so it can't happen. And that's what people were saying, it can't happen. My brother Salam here was saying it can't happen.
Okay.
But I don't blame him, because what we were seeing, nobody was seeing that.
Okay.
And sometimes, in fact, look, there are people I've spoken to off the record, and I've told them, say, some are MPP, some are NDC, that if these people believe what we were saying.
Okay. But I'm interested in that.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that there are people I spoke to off the record, say, look, they are ban esu. But I know say you don't believe me. But please, there are people I have in MPP. They are my friends, good friends of mine. I told them, say, I am calling them and talking to them as a friend, and that they should not put anywhere in their head that MPP will win.
Okay.
I told them. So what I have seen, you will not win. So whatever you want to plan that you're not winning power. My friends in MPP, very good friend of mine,
including Salam.
Salam, then I mean, so sometimes it's difficult when you find yourself in a situation like this in government, and it's really tough, And as Africans or as blacks, we're not used to accepting some of these data-driven facts. We're not used to that. I mean, I remember I was watching Rishi Sunak.
Okay.
The later part of the British campaign. But they are doing everything possible
to overturn
it.
Yeah.
You don't deny the reality. So, and that really made people angry. And people must know that. people feel say uncle for say Jimiana today can montiana. It made people angry.
Okay, so maybe say okay, me fashion be a national executive na metio. Na Musa dan kwankwan hu a ono de ono nko akoba o se ye belusu post ne bi nso nkyere saase e ba belusu nti de na wo Musa de no ho a esese mama dwen ye me se ono na e ka no kore kire me.
But you know, unfortunately, everybody called us to understand what we were doing and what the numbers were looking like.
Okay.
MPP never. Because Obi Maka atumtimu say Mahama and Etuanka. And that really overtook their thinking. You should have, even if Etuanka, get people to really sit down with us. Look at the numbers. Even query the approach, methodology, and see whether there is something wrong with our work. Because sometimes what we quite here. But somebody sitting back will say, Mr. What way? Then we can sit back and say, oh, I think we may have done something wrong here. Let's go and revisit that methodology. Okay. None of them, not a single soul in MPP, call say we want to know what is happening. But there are friends I have in MPP. Every time I get data, I send it to them. Every time I get data, including people in the campaign.
Oh really?
Oh yes. As when they were sending to the big man, only God knows. Maybe they were just.
But also any more man, no more response to saying. Then I'm still interested in finding out this one. Say okay, Wako field only a man for Akasa. We see abandonmento, menko, we see meko point. No, then a man who says any power we are or set menko no, we are more likely to vote for MPP.
No, because we ask them, say, which party do you vote for normally in an election? And Mr. say, we're a party member. No, we don't ask that question. Which party do you normally vote for in an election?
Okay.
Oh, mitatuma MPP, mitatuma NDC, mitatuma NDC. Because we meet matoha, matoha. That we give you as a floating voter classification. So we know.
All right.
And we are able to tell what he's telling you, say, he will do. And you see, what we do is that question as to which party you belong to or you vote for is the very last question we ask you in all the surveys. By that time,
okay.
By revealing his party, he can't change what he has told you earlier on. But Obisane said from the beginning, Otuma party, it will influence the response he gives you down the line.
Okay.
Especially if he thinks you are here to get certain kind of responses. Sometimes feel say maybe MPP na sendo and maybe NDC na sendo.
So
exactly. And we had an experience in Asen North. You know, on the last campaign by election, we were there around 12 o'clock. Me for this electoral area. Kushia, yes. We were there at 12 o'clock, and that was the same time Nando was campaigning there. And when we went there, everybody was saying, "Oh, Metoma MPP." So the euphoria at the time, MPP na sumai, and some of them, to be very honest, they were saying that because they thought we were going to give them money. So we knew, that isn't their normal voting intention, because we've been there about 4 times. But on that particular occasion, you could see a big difference between what they've been saying they would do a week earlier and what they were saying now. So we could see that was a bit abnormal. So we could read into the line and see these guys will not do what they said they would do.
That was very clear.
Yes.
Very, very clear.
So even though the polls at the time showed Chasibuku was leading by 1% point, we thought he was going to lose because of that euphoria.
And even if that euphoria is giving you 1%, whereas prior to Saturday, the difference was that
that you could see there's no way he was going to win. He's going to win, yes.
Okay. And see, on the average, that's maybe a do constituency be near year. Money
it depends. So we national sampling or national survey. Sampling is different from if you are doing a parliamentary sampling. Say parliamentary sampling, you deploy the sample. Normally it's a bigger sample, sometimes 2,000, 2,500, depending upon say a big constituency, sample will change. But on the average, in the constituency, we cover almost every electoral area in the constituency.
Okay.
So that's the difference between doing a serving parliamentary and doing a presidential election.
Okay.
Now, in the parliamentary, no, because even 5 votes can change the outcome. You must not neglect any electoral area in that constituency. Still, it's a keenly contested. You have to be very careful. So, baby say Bantama. I mean, you can close your eyes and do some number and go away. But baby, they say the swing areas. No, you have to be very, very careful that every view matters. So we cover every part of the constituency when you are doing the parliamentary sampling. But national, no, the focus is not a particular place, but national. Until we deployer, we pick randomly where we have to do the sampling. For example, you will computer simulated modular, pick the areas we have to visit in terms of constituency. But after picking the constituencies randomly, we also said, okay, when we are in, let's say, Ablikmanov, where should we go to in Ablikmanov? Then we come to the second step. And that second step, we have 2 ways we do it sometimes. We group the electoral areas into top and then to the bottom. We can pick 2 electoral areas from the top with a big population, 2 from the middle, and then 2 from the bottom. So that if the views of the smaller areas differ from the top one, you can see. And that could sometimes change the outcome of the election. But if you focus only on the top 3, it could be that those in the bottom half could change the outcome of the election. So we have to look at the margin of the winning from that last parliamentary election and see whether if we take top 3, it will be okay for us. If top 3 will not be okay, then we take 1 at the top, 1 in the middle, 1 at the bottom. So that we making sure that we are seeing the overall view of the various groups in the electoral areas. So that's how we do our sampling. And also say, we do it randomly on the street. People have chances of passing. Junctions like maybe Lorry Park. And Lorry Park are local. And I said, T junction and crossroad that we stand there. So when you are passing, we stop you to interview you. Randomly. But in the urban areas, it's quite easier to do this. But in the rural areas, you don't have the number at any point in time being able to move into that junction. So you may have to visit people in their various homes randomly as you go along. So we have to we kind of modify the approach if it's a heavily built or heavily populated constituency, and I say sparse. And if you pick a random, that is a very remote area, you can't say you wait at a junction because all here so you have to go to the houses or their shops and interview them. So the approach differ, and it's very mundane.
I see. And still on the presidential, no. Any man now who the wow do any who they now what here any other no. Nay bibia MPP bet me who bibia man.
I think it was largely the economy. And the economy takes longer to turn around.
Okay.
You see, so we implemented policy in this financial year. The effect of it will begin to be felt next year. So I believe, sir, in 2022, if they had done something significant, that would have changed the economic trajectory of the country by 2023. They would have had a very good chance to compete.
Okay.
And I think the full economic reforms, IMF reforms, I think happened somewhere end of 2022. So the pain began to hit the people in 2023. And the COVID and cold didn't make things better. And at that point, I think it was lost. Because if the economy was the central issue for many voters, Chile, and where the economy was, and how people were feeling, cost of living crisis, cost of living, I think that was the most thing that really drove the government out.
Okay.
Because the inflation was skyrocketing until I think 2023 where it began to recede a bit. But even that recession, within the inflation component, the food element was huge. And that food element was not coming down fast enough.
Okay.
And people were hungry. Okay. I mean, look, we've seen people having to eat 2 square meals a day, not instead of 3.
Okay.
And some eat between certain times so that they avoid trying to make some savings. It was real.
My last but one question on presidential. I was for Ora Musa Dankwa, our penny out that global info analytics ano ena yene no AD and Kokrokoo so ene ano pay. Opani de mepisa still on presidential no ansana parliament na fe unia salam so abamu no. After election no comment amatiti bi ene say abana ye 2024 no. A verdict on Akufo-Addo presidency instead of Bawumia. Ebimusio Bawumia paid for the sins of Akufo-Addo. Ebimusio Bawumia nankasa wa mono ho modern ensem bebre. On the first issue of whether the election was a verdict on Akufo-Addo presidency. Akufo-Addo abanya obebu ye 8 years no. Eno ho akatua se na Ghana fo hu no ena omode to aba no. Anase na Bawumia nankasa na onye attractive emma Ghana for na kokoto aba no. What do you say to that?
Luckily, you've done some work. So sometimes I don't like to speculate without having facts to support that. I think the blame goes to Nanado. About 80% of voters blame Nanado for MPP's loss. 80%. And that's quite huge.
Wow.
Yes. And then secondly, Bawumia, not for his performance, not for his campaign performance, but he's tied to Nanado. He couldn't distance himself from Nanado. He couldn't. And those made argument was because he was trying to, in the minds of people, to move away from Nanado. That would have helped if people have believed in him. But because they didn't believe that, they didn't buy into that. In terms of personally blaming him for the campaign loss, I think he ranks like 4th in the level of tier for blaming as a person.
Rank 4th?
Yes. Because the kind of simple, Ofurata comes third before Bawumia.
What was the key issue? Nanado.
And Nanado is the key issue.
80%.
Yes.
After him?
After him, Bawumia's closeness to Nanado.
Still Nanado.
And then we have Kennedy, Ken Ofurata, and then Bawumia as a person. So we brought the issue down so that we can see exactly where to lay the blame. But mostly the blame went to Nanado.
I didn't know more blame on this, especially when na on your candidate.
It was his legacy and his record that Bawumia has to run on.
Okay.
And the experience people had at the time wasn't good. And also, I think, look, let's be frank. Some of the things he was doing and was saying, honestly speaking, if he was running himself, he wouldn't have done that as a candidate. Some of the things he was doing and saying, if it was him as a candidate running, onye.
OGB.
Masa. Let's be the truth. I mean, sometimes we tend to gloss over things and let people get away with blame.
Okay,
fair. Look at Ahimfu, this issue. Come on. Ohin ben kete nkrofo se montuma nkrofo yi. Ohin ben.
Ade.
Do there say so I mean, we don't do that. We don't do that. No, sometimes I felt pity for Bawumia, honestly speaking.
Really?
I did. You could see the man's energy on the campaign. And
I say, if indeed you could see his energy on the campaign, then it means that only from the no now, but now the okay say Ghana for verdict on the Akufo-Addo was so deep seated. Say
he couldn't. Yes.
Yes. Wow.
Yes.
Okay, but okay, what am I referring to? I'm referring to. I remember.
I was saying the question.
Who is a straightforward person? My referring to. I remember Ken Ofurata. What was the issue with Ken Ofurata?
You see, a start here from E11 in Ethiopia. Luckily for him, your opinion poll before the E11 was approved, which was showing clearly about 74% of Ghanaians opposed it. Yes, it was something that you could have soothed the IMF program. But you see, we have a choice. I'm also a finance person. You see, we have a choice of balancing the book. Either raise revenue or cut down spending. Ken was not prepared to cut down spending. That would have been the easiest way to leave Ghanaians in peace. Went for the revenue option. That is fine. And that option says a option one, IMF. And we still went to IMF. So people were really angry. And luckily for you, you have your 80 of your MPs saying, Papa no money. Look, those MPs have constituents. So you can imagine, say, MDC had 137 in the constituencies. They may be opposing to the Ken. Would they add 137 to 88 now? What number would you have gotten? I think the decision to leave Ken beyond certain period was detrimental to MPP's chances.
Still a Kufuado.
And they would not become. I'm talking about Ken and his contribution.
Okay. Then, perhaps my final question on this leg, okay, okay, President Kufuado Nankasa,
yes.
Number one. Number two now say Dempo.
Number two, Baume's link or
closeness to Kufuado. And a 3 Ken Ofuriata.
Yes.
And a 4 Baumia Nankasa.
Himself, yes. Okay. And those last one, I think in the last few months of the campaign, Baumia didn't help himself.
Really?
He didn't help himself. Look, one, the campaign was disorganized. They looked energetic on the screen, but behind the scene, it was shambolic.
Okay.
And the press engagement with media. Okasi, if I did this, what else would I do? No? I think that was the last straw for floating voters.
What do
we say? And that's why I'm one. No, to be very honest with you.
I don't know, yes, sir.
To be very honest with you, you see, we have been tracking data regularly. Among for support among various party affiliates. Since that interview, his support among people with degree collapsed.
Sir?
His support among floating voters collapsed. In fact, it is the floating voters who made things very, very hard for him in the end.
Okay.
Yes, it didn't help him.
Okay.
I thought you could have given a better response to that question.
I see. Now, young can never fall in our embom. And he said, Baumian lapses, if he had given a better answer, as you put it, to that question. And there may be a disjointed campaign and all that. So, ultimate tensions are near Manoa vis-a-vis impact of a Kufuado on that campaign.
You want me to talk about a crystal ball?
Yeah.
No, I guess it.
Yes, Alam.
Pacho Ansana, Musa Damka answers that question. No, Mami bisa question Ansana. Your fiscal side, no, Edia call, maybe a bisa question, no. The factors are Dr. Bawumia, religion can home.
Technically, not in this election. No. It was a subtle issue. It wasn't prominent.
Okay.
It wouldn't be a reason why he would lose this election.
Religion?
No. It wouldn't be why he would lose or he lost this election.
The facts or acrimony?
No, it didn't play a major role that would have been fatal for him in this election. In this election, underline.
Religion in 2024 election was not a fatal issue?
Well, no, was not a fatal factor.
Okay, so it is as a poster, what from only Ghana for Akasa near there. I mean, what call length and breadth of Ghana. Now, it is a man for a prominent issue, say, Bawumia lost this election because Ghana for 1 year or my dream say, Ombe to Abam will be your acrimony. What will be your immediate reaction to that?
I'll say that that's not backed by data. It's not backed by data. In fact, look, ethnicity is even more serious than religion in this country. Yes. Ethnicity ranks higher than religion in this country. And you see, the good thing for us as a country is, we are a younger population. We have youth, some older ones. We are very ethnocentric and religious focus. We are older generation. So as the country grows, those people fade out. Now, I cut the younger ones who are much more liberal and kind of simple, more pragmatic in their thinking. So going forward, no, the value of religion and necessity will begin to will decline as time goes on.
I see. Okay. And now back to my question and answer the free presidential. So say Osheba Omiane ne dia na say oye e de boa ne ho for campaign no. Ene niema na ekuti ano a wildline 3 ne tie with President Kufuor Kenoforiata and the President Kufuor himself and his governance na. Say ba omia ye ne famu dia nanka betumi asesa de.
No, it would not have changed the overall outcome.
Okay.
But it wouldn't have been around 41%.
Okay, the margin would have been quite...
because look, regardless of who was running against Mahama in 2024, that person would have lost.
Regardless?
Yes, regardless.
I didn't.
Because the issues went beyond individuals. Yes. The issues went beyond individuals. And they were so fundamental and tied to MPP as a party that whoever runs on the same ticket, you could improve 1 or 2 or 3% here, but overall outcome will not have changed. No.
And then I said, some people want so this in 2025.
I think so. I won't say I think so. So sometimes it depends on what data you are looking at.
Okay.
See, some people who do research work are not brave. You see, to have that kind of brevity, to look at your mother in the eyes and say, Auntie Abna, you will lose. And it's easy thing to do. Maybe I won't know. Auntie, maybe I say it's too late. Look at people in the face and tell them the truth.
Okay.
Because data has no feeling. And yet they will become or say ayo. That is the fact.
On what the baby?
Absolutely. So let the person know so that but who paints different picture now almost call to the different assumption, then definitely there will be misalignment. It's all about data.
Now, President Kufuor because we're a very popular power with Ghanaians. So at what point did he start losing it?
He is very unpopular.
Currently.
Since 2022, he has been very unpopular.
And I can say, the first time, no,
I would say he was popular. Sadly, you see, young company that data no tracking
the popularity over the period.
You see?
But then I say, at what point and was starting losing the popularity?
I have no benchmark. Okay. From where we started from, from January 2022, he was below. In fact, the highest approval level when in all our polls was 35%.
Okay, so did you do anything on his popularity or on the first term? The first term,
no, we came into being in 2019.
Oh, okay.
And we didn't start constant polling until 2022.
But the all kinds of formula. Then it is dangerous for the MPP because in 2028, MPP come back to the poll. They will still go and campaign on the promise of this manner. Or unpopular by the day, as your data points to. What can the MPP do differently?
In 2028, look, every election is different.
Okay.
Don't assume say, well, we need 56 to know. Next time we'll be winning 50. Every election is different.
Okay.
And that's the mistake most of our analysts we have been making.
Okay.
Often a trend. Trend is okay. But in a period that we have very turbulent election, you must have a repeat of the same thing. Say there's a trend. In analysis, if something happens once, twice, it's only after the third time, and a trend.
Okay.
Where a fluke.
Okay.
Outlier.
Okay.
So you can't use it as a basis to project. That's why now poll no. Now man forces say about them because if a trend now, it doesn't trend. So there's always one term or first time. And that was what we saw in 2016.
Okay.
And repeated again in 2020. Would we be seeing that cycle every 8 years? And now it's only time that will tell. Then
finally, in 2016, 2016 and partly in 2020 election. As my na analyst maybe can say President Akufo-Addo kind of carried his parliamentary candidates along. Yeah. Also, what is Hazam Nada?
Oh yes.
Okay. What happened in this year, 2024 election?
MPP became a toxic for the MPs.
The party itself.
Yes, became a drag.
This time the party not Akufo-Addo.
Well, it's a combination of everything.
Okay. How did that become?
Look, there's maybe a friend down ballot effect.
Down ballot effect.
Aye.
Okay.
So on to man number one now. They wouldn't the king now or the boom in baby.
And the first time I
that's exactly it. Very, very few MPP survive in the swing areas. Very, very few. And some of them they are still under guitar crack. And you couldn't call swing and just swing. And a solid blue.
Don't make Kwabinya.
Oh dear, okay, now me watching me. Wait about we. Solid blue. Trouble, solid blue. And now so too, solid blue.
Yeah.
This time around, they all became what? Light blues.
And that's one base sea blue. So sea blue, a light.
And everywhere, very blue. No, it became very green.
Okay.
So the sins, they were fine MPs. Look, they were. How on earth could Wama be struggling to win his seat?
Patrick Yabua.
Very fine gentleman, very fine MP. But almost here, no, so but the why no, we really can't. Exactly. So he nearly paid the price for it. Look at Domi Kwabinya. They never thought in their wildest imagination, say, that seat could become vulnerable. But it happened. So it means there was something huge that was happening. And shockingly in Western region. Western and Central region. And that's why we saw the most bloodshed.
Okay.
For MPP. Western region was, in fact, Western became worse in the last when they put that Fia Quanta statute.
Yes. Sir.
Oh yes. Yes.
Okay.
When I saw that, I said, look, MPP could struggle to hold 2 seats
in the Western region
because look, already they were struggling to hold Takrady, and only Sekendi was looking a bit stronger. I didn't even think they were going to lose Sekendi. For me, it was shocking.
Sekendi?
Yes.
Okay.
I knew they were in trouble in all the other areas. Shama, Fiankwanda, Ifia. But for Sekendi, I was shocked.
Just the poster was shocked.
Yeah, I was shocked.
By his own data.
Because I didn't see. You see, it means the guys had their own plan and they were playing along so
just say can't they all pay natural.
So see, they thought sometimes you see we pay the price. They think say yeah MPP ni on asuma mention asuma until young bina but sometimes I saw in the data saying those who were committed to voting for him they were much smaller.
Okay.
We say okay, how likely are you going to vote for that candidate? The level of commitment who say we are vulnerable. Those who say very likely, no muswa. Oh, likely, then you have possibly, it means if he changed his mind, okay. And I think those were the people who really did him a damage.
All right. So, entiasia minya on chechema o de ma minya na say factors MPP for no aka ho boaboa no the president ono ane de party ntutu bia wanye ema MPP ba be ye toxic magana for the Ghanaians didn't want anything to do with the MPP. Into one party need to be amframano.
You pay the price.
You pay the price for it.
Yes.
So it wasn't so much about the candidates.
No.
Okay.
No. Look, they were very fine people who lost. Shockingly, they lost. You wonder how come? And look, the same thing. There are people in NDC who have won the seat today. If it wasn't for Mahama and the key issues, they would have lost in the normal election.
Unim bakoso ayeme ngwa pa meme region ahafu.
Look, I wasn't shocked. No, I wasn't shocked.
Okay. Why?
We went to Ahafu. And for some reason, NDC was winning 4 of the
6 seats.
6 seats.
6, yeah.
And only Gahimpo Only one of them, two of them that I thought maybe MPP could hold it.
Which no,
I don't remember that off the top of my head. But what happened in Tano? You know, Tano is the biggest part of the region,
north and south.
Yes, and the size of the Mahama support in Tano North and Tano South, it was shocking. If he wins Tano North and Tano South, then he will sweep the whole Ahafo.
Because now only blue and Kaza.
Yes.
Okay.
And then things fell apart. And you see, one thing about Ahafo people, they were shockingly. So Otuma MPP and also MPP near. So Otuma Mahama, he leaves the party. On Kasimi MPP ne Mitoma Mahama Debi or free party no eko NDC eko join Twaba. That's one thing about the Ahafo people. What we have seen from the data. There was a time that
me a plain.
Yes. I had to call somebody in the field. Say, I don't believe that people have left MPP and joined anything like that in that number. Honestly, we had a sana mutie. Almost see Omontumawa. Free party. They're not used to floating. He doesn't want to see himself as a betrayer. Me free mu, me waha, me tunisi.
Say in Suradi.
Absolutely.
In Surubia.
Okay. Bono I have the least number of say I won't tell you. And I'm other party. No, they decide they are here or they are here.
Okay. So and from an airborne now ordinary.
No, it was huge.
And to be Udibejinam from an be a best and Motian from my Befanaco.
Look, if NDC had believed us, look, and then even NDC didn't believe what we were saying.
NDC now predict man on so.
Some of them didn't believe what we were saying. No,
they didn't believe you.
About that. Look, when I mentioned them, I'm about them.
The NDC.
Some of them, yes, I know.
Never believed Musa Dankwa.
Almost say about them. For me to say they will lose, they will win.
The man whose poll they held like Holy Bible.
No, but that time now your polls okay.
Wow.
When I mentioned Takrady, they said it could fall. And what I was surprised is that I was surprised that they retained Takrady. Now I was waiting Takrady to fall.
Okay.
When I mentioned Kwesi Minting, if you have a Shaman is a bit swingy. To Shaman you could see that you could, but Kwesi Minting. Anyway, so some of them didn't believe that. If they had believed what I was telling them earlier, I think they could have won about 200 seats. Yes.
All right. I was for Musa Dankwa. On penny out that Global Info Analytics ano. And for 1 hour near meneno abom komo area for election 2024. They say untimi nyechi nye bia wo ho say ye kan de otia pakan mu a e Musa Dankwa say ono ne prediction and a bemu in total 2024 nti se ade ono ne King Kong to udi ne mre amman ni ne mre Musa mre na aba
King Kong be just no
you know why? Because it is difficult say o share yes system I practice ha no be bet me sticking in net so I deep na can say there be opposition no win so convincingly and 1 man 51 1 man 52 to say 1 man 55 me
54
approximately 55 yeah nti 55 for an opposition party now post about me a man of 55%. It costs a lot of boldness to do that nti mayamo abaso only to madman mayamo abaso quite rough
me a tough
now you're rough.
I nearly wore my blue and white fugu. I nearly wore it.
I see. Sam,
I guess it.
The youth commander.
It's a movement. Always the commander general.
One commander. As if one commander.
My commander pa. Still crash. Some of me, Mr. Still.
Anyway, Salam. For 1 hour, mene ora Musa Dankwa chuchun komo. Waka niyama bebre. Wabobo niyama bebre. So as a national officer and not just a mere officer, but will be our commander, the youth wing of your.
Medasi. First of all, maminchia etie for any ashofo nyina na member Musa Dankwa so abaso danka chairman general ewa ha anapo we de danka obe drag me pa because and one of the people are the pools much ready kakra In fact,
one day obaha. Na me no say ya.
And admit say you got it right. And most of us no got it wrong. But in doing so no na enya boapayo. I think you have mentioned it rightly. Say trend analysis a bit different. Election bia stronko. Me as a student of elections, nyama we adia metiasie pa. 2024 elections are different from 2020 and 2016 and a bit different from 2028 elections. Into election bia some election bia different. Mention on your research background, and I am an MSc student, so research the idea me papa, and I have been a research assistant at the Dankwa Institute in the year 2012. In fact, even to a very large extent, all the way to 2016, a lot of research leading us to power. I was involved in the research idea me papa and me yadie wom. Also no me obia me pedita, because politics are it's science and data. We have gradually moved away from period that you could tam ballot box na ya question na macho men abegina ho aye tutu asem near tutu na gradually no we are shifting to a more scientific, a more strategic, and a more thinking based electioneering and politics. And say one to me and Jenny ye na o strategy and ye nima obeto form. Now anapawe let me do one or two admissions. Midi National Youth Organizer Abani Wiye Obi Fremi Mimbodin, because the person is within the security system. So and I catch him, he say, you are my very good friend, but you are up against the hill. You have a lot of work to do, because we share researcher Edeyenim and baby Amo as against where John Mahama is. I think say you people have a lot of work to do. In fact, there was over 15% gap between us and John Mahama. And this was in October 2022. October 2022. Intina enyame nwanwa. In fact, mitie akompreko time our campaign or say, oh, and this election the MPP had lost it in 2022. I'm sure it was premised on a certain information, data are not available to him. In the Abinisio, as a na candidate BIA say on the name was set up to lose, admittedly. But I was of the opinion, said there was nothing impossible. And I carry that mindset, say what do you want, what the word SCB so? Say obetimiaye. Inti the form, but we are not out, because we share the factors a lot of it were exogenous, outside factors na higher.
Also tebro for agrao. Exogenous na ho and so saying
just say bebunu dey say sometimes spirit ho no ba
bashi no ba wa eza o ka exogenous eza na muzara nkwa be we news akwa ale
we share post COVID recovery problems na a war and supply chain disruptions. Russia, any America, these were significant issues. Na ade how bebre abraying, and we share na bibia economy no eda na enye bibia eyekra. In fact, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, ye flag bearer ejutumu if you listen to him in the media encounter, no, okay, I say sometime in 2022, not only mean that because the economy was crashing, was on its knees, and that's how he came out with gold for oil, and other programs that he had to buy at the time. In China, say we're in a difficult place, but of course we had to do everything. Yebetimi na ya change resource no na koyama yen. Because I also think say na enya boapa yo on the part of Akufo-Addo say maybe ahokyere bagana for so. But I bet you nyina. In fact, ufa ewiase ha ama nyina na oman bia to very serious economic issues. And meboa. In fact, me pemre follow UK elections. In fact, they are moto manami UK. In fact, me call UK about 2 days to omo elections. Say na me pese me ntiase and first hand understand what was going on in the United Kingdom. Idea nama Rishi Sunak numbers no enye and so on and so forth. Who quite the same economic issues. In fact, UK within a space of 1 year, almost changing by 3 finance ministers.
Prime ministers.
Prime minister about 3 of them. Finance ministers about 3 or 4 of them. From our own Ghanaian brother to the last one, Okoye. And this is the heaviest defeat.
Les Truss. Les Truss.
This is the heaviest defeat the Conservatives in the UK have suffered in close to 2 decades.
Oh, 200 years.
In fact,
200 years.
This is the heaviest defeat the Conservatives in UK have suffered. And Oba, so what they are not to change. Now Oba America. And also so in fact, I've been following the American elections since 2000. Many fear. And I've gotten attached to the American elections just like I do with the Nigerian elections, Kenyan elections, South African elections. So we are students of elections. Now these countries won't DHR. They now elections, knowledge at the form. We share the numbers between Trump and Biden. Senator Biden elusive impulse. Almost changing here. Eddie Kamala Harris buy, and the polls began to tilt. The famous, and they're eating the cats and eating the dogs. Election night, Trump destroyed the entire blue wall entirely. Obubumu. And this is the first time, I think, in 2 decades or so, that the Republicans are winning the popular votes in America. College votes no more win you. They don't win the popular votes. The Democrats after the popular votes they will win. In fact, Trump winning as 45th president of the United States won the popular votes. He didn't get it. But this time, Trump got both popular votes and the college votes.
Shocking was Pennsylvania.
He destroyed the entire blue. The entire blue wall was crashed down. And so, I don't know, maybe people just follow the results. They don't follow the exit polls. But exit polls in there.
Yeah, that's where you see.
That's where the real issues
the reasons why.
The reasons why I'm for Tuaba. And na economy no edenim. Economy edenim. And governance issues and so on and so forth. So I knew that we're up we're in for a very rough ride.
In other words, now him say Mahama the green I mean blue was no.
Not necessarily. In fact, me call when say me to kwai pa as national youth organizer. Atia me pepper from Juma be on the field. So I kept traveling. In fact, in my first few rounds I came and filed back reports to superiors and I shared it even to the highest levels, said there was significant apathy on the ground. Yeah, party for before it was something that we knew, but in the last days, no. The response was a bit different, so I got a different inclination. It is only now that I am able to decode the meaning of the silence. In fact, the only time I may pay attention to Musa Dankwa was, I don't know, say Okaya Oni Umaru a interview few days to the election. I think it should be the week of the election. Oni Musa Umaru a interview, and he stated, say, of our models na Oma Ashanti region 100%. Still the MPP cannot recover in this election. I'm sure. Okay.
Yes.
You know. And I'm saying, wait, what is this one talking about? What is this one talking about? Because at that time, I'm Mikuta other, surveys, from
they're now petty our print show more to them.
Not necessarily.
Because those surveys they're not
not necessarily. Not necessarily. Not because I was following about 3 different set of data, research materials, and most of it were in tune, in sync. In fact, the only one a bit different, and it's not that I didn't see idea because he kept putting us around, is it 96 or so,
96 as in parliamentary seat?
See, yes.
Yeah, it was hovering. Sometimes it goes to 100, so it was moving target.
And from trend analysis, me personally, because there were some parliamentary candidates that I was managing, their constituencies for them, and trend analysis meaning my understanding of all the 276 constituencies of head constituency be any Ghana meaning. I would be Sammy. I can't tell you the dynamics. We are holding on to 148. Say a year then 148 we there. Empepa. That's sure with our 148, and that also inch close to the presidential, because the presidential not a neck from what we had. The only time overtake John Kakra was somewhere in November of 2024. I won't say, okay, Jack, as a Krano, you didn't check phone Kakra. Until we knew that, okay, let's push a bit harder, and we did. Election we worked so hard in this election as a night year opposition. Senior, Musa Dankwa Kasa Ekayano. Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, the presidential candidate, spent 150 days straight on the road. But John Mahama didn't do, His Excellency, 1 year 276 constituencies in Ghana. He didn't complete them. But he has won massively. Because
destroying the Blue Army.
If you like.
The limping Blue Army.
If you like. Because the pre-existing conditions determined the direction of the results. Me, on my at least for the elections that I have been involved in, national elections from 2016, that I was deputy national youth organizer, from 2000 marshal elections, the anger of the Ghanaian people is important. 2000, the Ghanaian people wanted change, because Ghanaians were tired of the 19-year rule, PNDC, NDC. 2016, Ghana for Buofu, Yadesumu for 4 years. It's like, God damn it! Look, we are done with this. Oh, now Ghana for Buofu. As opposition, what you do is to harness the anger of the people and give it direction that we are better, we can do it for you. And that's exactly what the NDC was able to do in this particular election. That a Bufono, Abba Ghana for Buofu. Because of, if you cannot deny it, and at no point did we deny, say things were difficult in this country. Nyama boy, the cost of living was high. We admitted. You cannot but admit. President admit here. Your presidential candidate so admit here. Nah. Of course. Say comedy me an angry. A hungry man is an angry man. So, obi sorry na a comedian. The person who cash your own tea, who of the NPP 6 regions. Because in these 6 regions, we lost more than 2 million votes in 6 regions. Just 6. You mentioned these 6 regions: Ashanti, Western, Central, Eastern, Greater Accra, and Bono. And traditionally, these are places MPP should be doing much better. Because over Ashanti region, 8 out of 10 people would vote for the NPP. Over Eastern region, save
6.
The Krobo, area there, 7 out of 10 would vote NPP. Over Ekwapim block, the Sikaman block, the Kwehu block.
Baby Kokrokoo say whichever block you consider. Worry. Will you accept?
It's true. Yari.
Will you now accept defeat in humility?
Oh, of course, I have done so. I have done so.
Okay, so as an Albert Wasono, this one is to tell you to get ready for the ultimate shopping experience from Saturday, the 1st of February 2025 to Wednesday, 15th of February 2025. Enjoy unbeatable discounts of up to about 50% across all Essenza stores in Ghana. Discover top deals on your favorite luxury brands, including perfumes, skincare, and makeup from Christian Dior, Chantel, Fenty, Clarin, Lancome, Giorgio Armani, and more. Visit any of our Essenza locations at Junction Mall, Nunga Barrier, or call us on 0552 516 200, 0552 516 200. Stanbic Heights Airport Residential, 0558 143 840, 0558 143 840. City Gallery Mall near Accra Mall, 0552 223-801, 0552-223-801, Kumasi City Mall and Takoradi. For additional assistance, reach out to our customer support lines on 0591-250-366, 0591-250-366. Salam Mustafa ewa say ena Musa dan kwaso so ewa hampanifo emienu ena no pay don hwe ni akiri me ne onum ti ha yebo enkomo. Salam fo anu sina menko Musa so na fe enyen sorry so anope. So technically, it means that all along the stretch of the campaign, now at the point muji say any man ko ye mobere.
No.
Namunim say any man ko ye but namunim
say ada na ko elections no.
But namunim say any man ko ye but namunim say betimi ada na.
Enye say nyama ko ye. Say na me kai from Ashasia no. You know that ejumani edin. Me see, yeah. Dana you can see. Election BB8 me.
Salam Tiwe netwaso. Salam is still talking about exogenous factors. He and the MPP must accept the feedback with humility. Was the secondary statue an exogenous factor? Was asking chiefs to stand up and greet me exogenous? Were the president's dismissive remark of Efija exogenous? Was the refusal to do a simple reshuffle exogenous? Was a refusal to listen to the voice of the people as conveyed by 90 MPs exogenous to remove the finance minister? You will carry on with exogenous not 2028. Sisi Fian na masa de are. Ajaku from Spaintex.
I'm sure say when tie from the beginning. When tie because I was talking about the factors at play around 2022, why the NPP was down in the polls. That's the explanation I was giving. So when all that he has said are reasons apart, and yet one particular reason to the lose here. No, it's a basket of issues, a gamut of issues, and about together. I'm a lose, and what me bako enjoy bako, and all of that we admit. Last 2 weeks, I told you, say, I'm the first person to admit near Akosono.
Okay.
And I'm the first person to tell the NPP youth that, look, I am sorry that we disappointed you. And party people, you know, and all that. I feel the pain of party people. Maybe you don't know, but losing elections, we are.
My contest election though.
What contest election?
My contest be pass.
Me say hey, and I don't know how she seen it. I didn't know so. What me kind of know the tenors they be. I said man, come back. We don't go back.
But me the any nyamo level ni bia. I made a students election.
But me catch out. Let me tell you, see the night of the election. Me talk about Tamale.
You
mean the
2024 election?
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Me talk about Tamale. Many presidential candidate and the choir also two wali. Until 2 years and ye back. Until later on and journal ye call you know a collation
more strong room.
You know, yeah. At the end of basa, Shadiana, na menusi bring me. Results no basa na menusi bring me. At the end of tias here. The I say me da. Inti me pese me nyane. Na I'm sorry. Around 11:30, and I'm sorry. Pia bonti, me jina bonti sa. Na me pay free. Builder no and me driver Johnny eba me say oh ada yen kwa na am say o de ondi me chikakra o de you know and go for a car. I didn't know say I'd walked about 1 kilometer. Me nantisa there's a guy on tears here what was going on because me kashe you know also whom baby ye ko fio ye ko here oni na but kaka me na tina odi meji kaka and I think onya vim na o twiba enim aka say oh boss when anti sa me nim baby ye ko fia na because we 90 we dey say yeah we na kan mu na ka chen baby a woko na ye ko na me say oh so see ananti kakra na say oh that was the only time I realized that na me nanti. That was the only time I realized na me nanti. There's enough my journey na meaning baby in fact I'd lost myself like in trance even though I was very much awake. And to lose the election is not easy. It's not. Inti se party for ebuefu na omo di attempt, you know, omo dey blame to bia. So I understand them. Even at my level, look at how I took it in. I had to take it. Now the people who were looking up to us for help in one way or the other. Inti media Nana Gasi, I think say 2028 election a different election. The dynamics will be much different. You can say there's already an implosion in the NDC.
And non found.
If I'm home, Debbie a cajon. They say your presidential primaries. You call it the rancor. You can't take it away from the defeat. It's part. It's part. It's part. It's the near cause of NDC. You know, it's part of it. Or master already just. 1 month into election, I said you can say, hey, yeah, John Mahama, me the way I met now, me the man far away and by me so because hey, me a guy man be again I do so.
What in November? Oh, can we ask them?
Omuko meeting ah.
Kreso sa osisi fin na yanko yanim.
See the kete bu.
Oh, ko election onim so obere na o sa sisi fin. Oh, sisi fin.
No. Look,
One masa we anem pepa.
There is no obi oti elections asebia will tell you say anything can happen at any time until the last ballot is cast.
Bibia timisi. Matias, ya mami ko musara nkwa so na yentu apa no pay. Abusa fa no pay empenifo mienu wo studio am ne omo twetwe nkomo. Salam Mustafa on the Kaza Sisia no. We a National Youth Organizer NPP. Na Musa Dankwa Executive Director Global Info Analytics. Ono ena idi kan kasa ya sana Salam Ebomo no. Of Musa election ya think here na kitu e bi na sesia. Aje but today it's been an interesting discussion with you, but you know obo bibia they who ye proud to the election, their course and then post election ya dey nyina obo no tofa will be your comments.
Data is very key, and data no sometimes no a bear you know but a muhu no that data no eventually you figure out what to do. Meteo say for the first time and who say constantly post back out to measure how they are doing. So I think they should rather prepare for more of these things. And you see, sometimes, and I don't blame them, new. Before you even go to elect a candidate, also who said this candidate, is he electable or not? What if they let somebody else bring this person? What would be the scenario? So that plans are being so should be different from the same planner or share for another candidate. They should be looking ahead before their primaries. Looking ahead. Start to permute who NDC will bring and who they will bring and what will be the issues and how can they fight those elections from now. Because if you plan from today, then you will know what to do when the time comes. So one planning there, you wake up, then you will be like Salam. Now if you're forward, this will be on fire. But once you sit back way ahead and think, and it's for a reason, say, Abrofo, Omuye, what they call risk forecasting. They look ahead, sometimes 30 years ahead. Now, Omanya scenarios. So we and this is how we will fight this election. So we anyway, this is how we will fight it. Well ahead. Well-ahead. Yes, sir. And you see, a lot of things are our elections is born within the demography of the Ghanaian voter.
Okay.
And you hold on to some belief for 30 years. And those beliefs are no longer true. And our politicians and analysts are holding dearly those theories in their heart.
MPP
40%, NDC 40%. That is one of the biggest mistakes they have been making. As we speak today, Amanfo openly say Omuye MPP are dropped nationally to 21% in the last 3 months. That is serious. And luckily we are measured.
And NDC
is now 55%.
Sunday it is to be expected, especially in the first quarter of a new government.
But at least now
they're doing good well.
But now also every group I say what you give to Sami, you don't give that one to Abiba and to Abiba a different story. Yeah, say Obiya Sami, not the number. No, it is a way of wasting money because you are not targeting your voters. So data must drive everybody going forward now. It doesn't come from us. Look, then they will hope publicly, but you can commission serious people. They will look at you in the face and tell you the truth.
Okay.
And that is what mostly we lack in this country. When people find themselves comfortable with MPP, they will tell you what MPP want to hear. When they are comfortable with NDC, they tell you what NDC want to hear. But the truth lies in between.
Okay. That is the absolute truth.
Absolute truth. And you see, when you, if you are a pollster, and you get attacked by this left and right, it means you
are doing something right.
Yes.
Okay. Adebia mepe se obehwe ho. Menim se nyame ya adom a se obrema okwan obesan ba ma ya to ankomons because we are a useful exercise ani nyina bo oman no enkankro. one of the things I'm a person who now treasure pie say the government be from 92 or within the first term no of course second term I am the performance in a day yeah
mean to me
over to me
because you see
over to me pa
you see memory fades
make up me over to the mission Nancy performance of my first attempt or presidency no so okay ha na yemfanko ye nim nkonkohwa ade because build possible scenarios for 2028 you know it's one of the scenarios that we will all need to build especially from the NDC.
Okay you want to see maybe results are the actual results election this election then is and they easy you can look at that
we see a trend be
but you see what we lack is that to amount for adwin when Nado became president year on year until he left. Mahama has come year on year until he leaves. There may be something within that data that will show you what could happen. Tama Nado if you know not what was his approval rating. Tama Mahama be free soon. What is the approval rating? So Mahama free soon before for bar who when remember. Is it MPP or NDC? Does the person's chances depend on how his predecessor performed?
So that the next time we will be speaking data. How do you know?
But now you man yourself. So
how do you know?
No,
good data day.
Data, me the idea pa. Me pe, who say me pe debate on. But me pe debate on data. Okay, and yes, will be na boni team. No. Your argument must be grounded. Say the American, you know, so
you see, and that's why Oshemia, I don't comment on radio on many things. Ofremi on radio, not about data, I will speak.
Okay.
But I can post things, commentary on my Facebook wall and our Twitter. But to discuss national issues on radio, I like to stick to data alone. Okay. I'm friends, so no, we political commentator. So ask those who can comment on anything, let them comment. When me I'll put data out there, and without data, I don't speak.
Okay, all right. Without data, I don't speak. Salam.
I can say.
What's the meaning?
Me say, but I am myself.
Dear here. Is there a day beyond our car? Or man, you somehow can say, upon corner now they call upon corner yare. Well, who's upon corner yare, Mohammed Adriani? Oh, baby, Adriana.
Poncone dear.
Ponco is
fit for people.
Or the ICU.
Baby, ICU. Oh, you're fit for people.
Upon corner the ICU.
Baby. Don't worry.
I'm worried.
Yeah. I do yeah, over the time. Yeah, and I like it. When everybody doubts you, and positioner say wono me the say obia ana dodono, you know, maybe we'll write off MPP, and in the next elections, but as underdogs. Oh, that's where we are going to show the power of will.
But post-election,
yes.
Now one kasa party faithful. Utie they are more reactive to side defeat way, and someone nipping be canny there. Unya I think be o say mo betimi de mo bone ache mo ho.
You bet me. To
now more willing.
To err is human. To forgive is divine.
But are you ready? Are you prepared to forgive yourselves?
Yes. Look, me per se, say me family me home as an example.
As a youth commander.
Yes. Me kuta ebufu for anybody, especially post election. Yeah, pushing blames. Nia oma coming home some money, the omedi matem, nia omedi nyamaswami. I don't begrudge anybody because it's normal. It's normal. Me a party me can wait the last 2 weeks or so. I have, spent my time life in the NPP, in the service of the NPP. Me shall say, be 19, 20, like not even 20 years, and then me 41. into 20 years of my life, me that some MPP, the prime of my life, and I'm proud. In fact, say that me 20 years can me the best some MPP. Into why would I hold a grudge against somebody? I mean, the next 20 years, no, what it holds for me. Na semi time obia, say china ono enebe boamia, me ye den akoni chain. Ain't na last time me ba me catch a MPP for say, especially you for no. I think the DI ye ho. In some ye tro efa ye ho. We should think again. There's tomorrow. And there was data, what for phone, what smartphone. Jack, what to be try a brofa kesia into would the mouth back. Me can't be now. My wish to be tell say, you people don't know tomorrow. Yeah? Now I can see. I am from Tamale. Yeah? I am from Tamale with ancestry from Pusiga in the Upper East region. Free Tamale.
I think.
Yeah?
No free Tamale and I think.
But the people who have helped me to reach where I am today, I don't relate to them by blood or anything. So why would I turn and dislike other people? My sisters, I come from largely a family of women. Me or 7 sisters. If I know me 8, back when from Chaka 7, ma 3. Me papa we pa we say no obojuma.
Largely. Mo o mama mo yes na o papa bojuma.
11.
And o papa no lazy.
A full football team.
Your father from Tamale and o 11 pay. And out here did go no man pay. So ja.
Me kwa my politics
oh ja papa anya dey.
Ko for my boa me. Same Wukunum, Mustafa Hamid no, Dr. Baumia, Nanado Dankwe Kufuado. Look, I owe my life to my political success where I've reached.
And the all kind of they are saying.
Me kadia sisu say the way we are treating each other today, no, because we nim ne obeboa wechina.
Okay. Now
that's what I'm urging that yenfa, boniface any idea, yetimi ye. Let's learn to forgive each other. Look, opposition eya. Niye ko so e wa ban mususun eya. Na ebinum edidi, ebinum so anya eya. But now we have been given a position to do a proper reset. Sesia baby yedru no. Obia any na juma. And wo juma e na be kire baby obeko in the next government. And I have said this time with that number. Say we ni atu yen am I any opportunity we dey me dey need any die na erade dia mame and na be kan we any die nyina erade dia mame and na be kan we the old generation domasi 1992 omo tie party no ma yen ye domasi se sia yesu na yesom se sia embabunu party into your for nom omunja party ne fama yen. And that's what this particular results has communicated to us. We are capable. Nanado Dankwe Kufuado appointed a lot of young people now bemo Abujina Port Samuel Wuku any diem
na mom rantier muso say baketi am say mom rantier di jam mu hu ye
say ye pe efutuo ye bebe fie na ye bechia na ye ji futuo na ye de akwa ye dwuma anything me share you funi nyina nkran. This is the time to arise and shine. This is the time to stake your claim. Because me nkoye ejuma na ye wie election na ekunimdie ba me ena me ko kasa amao say na ya kasa so oye ejuma o there be some agent no ma omoye positions no. It's because the work they did is visible.
But see and that anger na me pesa ka over kan so we can say
no it's
tobo me ba enye san MPP for motie because twenty also ye obi a oped data pa conform na na manfo kasa obi a be catch say MPP for mo major problem ne say Munim nipa ye. One, munim modie. And I say, who cross a mudienia. Munim nipa hwe. Unlike the NDC. And that has been.
Any day I would disagree. I would disagree. I get the point.
It's not about getting the point. It's a reality.
Yes, I get the point. And you say you need Kaye.
Between 2022
I know the point.
And 2024. Yes. Academia. Academia.
And I admit it. Businessmen were angry with us. Some of them our friends. Me,
not just your friends, your financiers.
Financiers. What me ko bin channel can say, "Pastor me dey mistake about now MP politics." I mean, farmer. They are there. We are sorry. We hate them. The youth, a lot of them. Omanye Jumaye. We are sorry. We hate them. Journalists, you know say when me there, omo MPP for send ye treat you many are not happy. We are sorry.
Mobile fear na mo be hu.
Oh, se upa ye be kana sa.
Se mo be fie mo a ene ya mo enti do bi say. Se mo be tena fie na mo hu niam clear say de na mo tena fie da bia na mo hu niam yi.
Oh, they will do better. And as you are aware,
Masala, my last question to you.
The next
my last question to you. Anthony Abayifa Kabo became the youth organizer of the party.
Yeah.
One term. Ofri ho na Samia Okubaye. One term. Ofri ho ena Nanabi baye. One term. Obia nsiki your friend saying Samia nsiki re-election.
Yes.
Nanabi nsiki re-election.
Yes.
Nanabi free ho na Salah Mustafa ebaye.
Yes.
One term. Obesiki re-election. And I say, Obeko Nanim said that Nanabi so yes, Obeja National Youth Organizer, they are called National Organizer.
Maminka and share already any monyam say I will not seek re-election.
You will not seek re-election as a youth organizer of your party. Okay. All right. But you seek
and election. As you are aware, your party mra age threshold of 40. Mapahum. I won't be dishonest. Say, oh, I want to hold on to a position in Chinchina no Mapahon cra, Mefa Quine Beer, so maybe I will not do it. My age, and as a true party person, I will gladly hand over to another young person to rise.
Okay. Obviously, Mr. Asante, Obubodino, Obo Meman Quanto, baby, I'm wow.
In fact, Obaba kwa wabwa me pa. Oh, your sister, papa. If you kuto. If you kuto. And Esla also akufo. Baby, the brutal. We penastem rough. And
my last bite on this morning's discussion, Musa Dankwa. Musa, wait there, it will be direct question, because we need your permission to speak for you. I would like to know from Musa Dankwa what he thinks of the Kokrokoo committee.
Of course, you need a committee to unravel other things. What I may see in a public side of the issues. There are internal issues be a and the committee will go beyond the public opinion into the internal workings, what worked and what didn't work well. And I think it's necessary that the committee keeps working.
Okay, all right.
Oh, and what I just can say is, look, name calling me. And Hame Opa Fremi Kukurudu, I don't mind. Fremi Eyezu Eyeza, I don't mind. I just want to be objective in what I see and what I post. And for that, I'll remain so forever.
I see.
Memfa party be Atadia, she said, my NDC Nintino, Mihua Menka, and I said, me MPP Nintino, Mihua Menka. And for people who don't know me, I'm a very strong-minded person. I speak my mind strongly. I don't fear name calling. So those who are calling me the names, they should continue.
All right.
Just that they shouldn't forget that my numbers are very accurate.
Okay. Salam Mustafa, what's the National Youth Organizer Bium? Oh.
Meaning mischievous question. Now, person will be me next.
Ade. Salam now.
Mischievous question. Now, person will be me next.
Which is?
And then I'm for.
Oh, not really.
What legs?
Not really. But I only wanted to find out if we are interested in any national position.
Me train ya. Area the catching. Any party for me. That me some party. Yeah, on back at say me ya no. Say almost me yimiti for the next position. I may yimiti.
Like national organizer.
No, I will erradicate change. Yeah, eradi be direct me say me nko no sa kwan na mefa me da se
ofamuza rangwa anope with time awenya mai no me da wase pa. I don't take it for granted at all. Nyame nshraw me da se pa acquire tough
ben pair off.
I said over pair off pa. Salam Mustafa, National Youth Organizer NPP, and Musa Dankwa, Executive Director, Global Info Executive Secretary, Global Info Analytics. Penifo mi no pay me no church come. Every na na orchestra with me aframe the cardinal. Metremo Emma Ghana's Morning Voice Chairman General Kwame Sefakan. I wa share me boss enche kra. Me hu no life. No amam Kwame me so ma hu mi bi. So Timiko leave from 20 Kojo last year say break it 23rd. 23rd. No person kwa the second week of February so ka ho a. E nyina e be hwe oba. Chairman Galam say we want to nkasi on to oba fam share bre me. Wa fam share bre me na asembesi pa. Afen penifo ahihye ma me di ho chia me Dr. Father Dixon Kennedy Asante Osei so for Kojo Asante Stephen Bar for Peter Square Isaac Opoko Pretty Joyce Dominic Nyanyovo any team ni nyina me da mo ase. Na Kofi Kumbas and Dara baby no more than copy Mr. Premo, Ebetu Yami had much and I bet to assume no so in the radiasum Jejo Bia Unya Quine, 80 and ano pay Macramo.